Tom Clark's Main Event is a Boink Studios production. And now, on with the show.
This is Daddy Show. Step off.
Hey, what is up? Welcome to the program, folks. Thank you for tuning in. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Tom Clark, and this is Tom Clark's Main Event. Happy Friday to you one and all. Hope you and yours are doing freaking fantastic. Hope you've had a great week. Yes, I'm Tom. This is my show. Welcome. Again, hope you guys are doing great. This is episode number 191. Dude, let me just tell you, we're moving right along. In actuality, I believe this is episode 193. I've had a couple of different episodes over the years that I didn't count in the regular continuity of the show because they were sort of out of bounds of what we usually do here on the Main Event. They were like specials, right? So we are fastly approaching episode 200, and when we get there, you're going to see a complete reboot of the graphic design of the show, new artwork, new music, the whole nine. My kid's voice will still be on there because I got to have my boy attached to the show, obviously. So he is my mascot, my good luck charm, and he's just the best kid ever. So, yes, we're going to go ahead and get rolling right along here today, folks. We've got a huge show for you. Let's get some banners thrown up here if we can. There we is. And let's go ahead and say some hellos and give you some greetings this morning / afternoon. Sandy in Germany, what's going on? How you doing, my friend? Danny, what's up, bro? Hello, Carlos Martinez. Mark. Thanks, man. Shane, yes, we're going to get there, brother. We're going to get there. Hope you're doing good, man. Brenda doing well, sir. Hope you are as well. Bit, what's going on? What's up, Robbie? Robbie talking about Brock this morning. What's up, Jamel in Vegas? I'd ask you what's going on out there, but evidently you can't tell me because what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. You know. What's up, Victor? What's going on? Yes, sir. Brendan 200 is almost here. Good afternoon, Ray. How are you doing? Christopher, as always, announces his return or announces his arrival. Bit, we'll get there, my friend. So we've got almost 50 viewers right now. We're going to actually just jumped up over 50. What's up? So I'm Tom Clark. This is my show, Tom Clark's Main Event, established 2014. And yes, we are going to be changing the logo. We'll be changing the graphics, be changing the music, the bumpers, the whole nine. Coming up with episode 200, we're going to be unveiling a brand new look to the show. So please stay tuned for that. And yes, we are moving right along. It's been a good week for me. An interesting week. I took some vacation time last week from the civilian job. Yes. So the real world job, right? And it was good to get away. It's always good to have a break. I've got another one coming up in a couple of weeks and then another one in October. Yours truly has got some serious vacation time that he just hasn't had a chance to take this year. So we're going to get those weeks out of the way and enjoy every stinking second of them. What's up, Keith? Hope you're doing great, man. DeMarco, what's going on? Yes, a lot of strife in the world right now. We're not going to get into any of that today. As you know, this is a pro wrestling podcast, but I will say this to every one of you watching today and listening today or listening after the fact, to all of you who subscribe and download. First of all, thank you for your time and attention. I always do greatly appreciate it. Number two, please stay safe out there. Please stay healthy. We're continuing to battle the situation out there in the world, and the times they are changing. It's a lot of nonsense out there, folks. But again, stay safe. Please stay healthy, and please take care of each other. That's what we're supposed to be doing, right? All right, folks. Again, really big show. Lots to talk about. Let's go ahead and jump on this sucker. Right off the bat, Shane brought this up. Rest in peace, Bullet Bob Armstrong. Don't know how many of you out here are old school pro wrestling fans like myself. I grew up a fan of the Armstrong family. Brad Armstrong was one of my favorites, a guy who had a lot of unrealized potential in the NWA. He was beyond, the word mechanic gets thrown around in this business, and a lot of times it's taken like in a negative connotation. I wish that wasn't the case because in my mind, at least where I'm coming from, I don't mean it in a negative way. because Brad was extremely good in the ring. He wasn't very good on the mic, which I think held him back. But Brad Armstrong, I'd put him up there with any talent of his day or any talent of today, if I'm being honest with you. But it all started, of course, with the patriarch of the family, and that, of course, is Bullet Bob. Bullet Bob raised some great sons, some great workers, some great talents. And yes, Bob Armstrong is a legend in this business. So, again, all the best to Bob's family. He will be missed. To his friends, his family, and his fans, of course, we say our deepest condolences. That's from everybody here at the Main Event. That's from everybody at Wrestling Rumors. I'm sure I speak for every one of us when I say that. So, yes, unfortunate news for everyone involved. So, yes, if you're a fan of Bob Armstrong, please go on Twitter or Facebook, send your condolences to the family. I'm sure they would very much appreciate it. So I've got my kid texting me right now, and he knows it's showtime. He knows that showtime is 12 o'clock. But yet here he is, okay, texting me. I don't know if you can see, he's son in my phone. He's son. So there you go. All right, so there we are. Welcome back. I'm back. Sorry about that. Yes, he will not be making an appearance in physical form in the show today, but he is here in spirit, if not in body and mind. So, yes, hate to kick off the show and with sort of a down note, but it's not a reason to be down because Bob had a great life, huge impact on this business, great impact on his family, really good guy from all accounts. One of the smartest guys to ever work in this business. And yes, he's going to be missed. So let's move right along here, folks, and not to take away from anything like that. But as I said, we've got a lot to cover today. So yes, all the best to his family. Let's talk about the two biggest shows that we have to deal with over the past weekend going into this week, SummerSlam and NXT TakeOver. What are your thoughts on these events? What did you guys think about the shows? And how do you feel about what transpired during the course of both events? Really quick, let's hit TakeOver first. This is always a fairly quick rundown, but let's talk about it. Breezango defeated Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch and Legado del Fantasma. And it was a triple threat tag team match, determined number one contender for NXT Tag Team Championships. And as we know, Breezango became the new NXT Tag Team Champions on this past episode of NXT. So there you are. Finn Balor defeated Timothy Thatcher. Really, really good match. Thatcher's he's been given a lot. Okay. Thatcher is considered, well, he ties you up, and he's old school and stuff. And I'm like, this is how wrestling used to be. I mean, I get it that we're in the land of pro wrestling of sports entertainment. Can't say the word pro wrestling, that company, right? I get it. We're in the land of sports entertainment. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge, say no more, say no more. But at the same time, let's call it for what it is. Thatcher is what wrestling used to be. So if you're a fan of the old school stuff, as it's referred to, then yeah, you're going to love his stuff. I like Thatcher a lot. I think it's a different kind of presentation, if I'm being totally honest with you. Nothing wrong with that. Again, I like him. I like what he does. But it's so funny how he's become the exception rather than the norm. Do you know what I mean? Like if you put him in any other environment, put him in New Japan, even AEW, he would not be considered, well, this is the man's man. He's the wrestler's wrestler. Because they're already doing that. Do you know what I mean? But in WWE, he sticks out. I mean, he stands out like pajamas on a cat, doesn't he? Like you can just see him a mile away and say, oh, he's a wrestler. He's not a sports entertainer. So, yeah. It says, what do you think of NXT being on Tuesday? This coming to I'm okay with it. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Martinez Tantonio. What's up? Have you ever watched the show before? Welcome. David says NXT product is better than any WWE product. I'm sorry. I would have to agree with you on that. Robbie, going back to the Armstrong family. The Armstrongs are right up there with the Von Erich family, the Hart family, and the Orton family. Robbie, I think you're dead on the money with that comparison. And good on you. I think that's very, very apropos. Hit the rest of the card here for NXT. Damian Priest defeated Bronson Reed, Cameron Grimes, and Johnny Gargano in the Velveteen Dream in a ladder match for the vacant NXT North American Championship. Priest is very, very good. He's no longer underrated. I think people are seeing exactly what this guy can do. I interviewed Priest back in the day when he was Punishment Martinez working for Ring of Honor just last year, actually. Good guy, smart guy, very smart. Business. He's all business, man. And it shows in his work. And I actually dig the guy's work quite a bit. And I think the right guy won. I like Bronson Reed a lot, but I think the right guy won in this. Now, hard for me to ever pull against Cameron Grimes. Cameron Grimes. I'm sorry. I love doing that. He's still a highlight of the show for me. I love this guy to death. And I hope he gets his opportunity at the championship in the very near future. I don't think he needs it. I just think it would be fun and entertaining. Adam Cole defeated Pat McAfee. And we'll circle back to this. Io Shirai defeated Dakota Kai with Rachel Gonzalez, successfully defending the NXT Women's Championship. And then, of course, Karrion Kross takes down Keith Lee, become the new NXT champion. He had to surrender the title. He has a separated shoulder. He's going to miss quite a bit of time, yes? So what do you guys think about Pat McAfee's debut? Is it even something you even want to talk about here today? I got to be honest with you. I never was high on this guy. I still am not. There's something about the way he carries himself, and I know I sound negative. I know I sound like, God, here he goes again. He hates on this guy. I don't mean it to sound that way, if I'm being honest. I really don't. But at the same time, I just don't know how seriously I take him. I don't know. I think I took Stephen Amell more seriously, the guy that plays Arrow, Green Arrow. Of course, I'm a comic book nerd too, yes, but it's kind of my jam. So I don't know, man. To me, there's something about McAfee. Yes, he's athletic. Yes, he's big. Yes, he's strong. Yes, he's in great shape. He did just fine. But I expected him to do just fine. Suppose this guy's been training for years and has his own ring at home or something. Something like that. I don't know. I would expect him to be ready. I didn't expect anything less. I didn't expect Ric Flair. I didn't expect Eddie Guerrero, but I expected him to be ready, and I think he was. David says he did all right for his debut match. Ray, the biggest Adam Cole fan you've ever met. Yes, Adam Cole won, baby. He's the next champ. He may very well be. Martinez says new to it. All right, cool. What did you think AEW came on last Saturday? Take me back to WCW Saturday Night Takeover was good. Yes, sir. I enjoyed both shows. And we'll get to AEW, Martinez. Hang around, bro. Okay, we're going to get there. We chop this thing up into segments. I do all this work, all this prep ahead of time. So, yeah, all good, man. See, Bit says the same injury that Balor had when he became the first. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, Seth threw him into the barricade. Jamel made this comparison in the past. He and I, in the past, another episode, talked about this. So, yeah. Interesting. Ray says Pat McAfee stinks and took a beating by the King. Ray is heavily influenced by his favorite. David says McAfee brings a different audience. Let's hope so. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure his boys tuned in to watch. But did they tune in for anything more besides that match? I can't answer that. That's one of those things that you don't really know. I don't know, man. I get where you're coming from, though. Jeff said, do you know of Hannibal, the best indie wrestler of all time? No, I don't. Hannibal. It's an A-Team reference. Look it up, kids. All right, so let's get on to SummerSlam, shall we? So we had Apollo Crews defeated MVP. It was a singles match for the WWE United States Championship. Of course, Lashley and Shelton Benjamin were banned from the ringside area. Bayley with Sasha defeated Asuka. Singles match for the WWE SmackDown Women's Championship. The Street Profits defeated Andrade and Angel Garza with Zelina Vega. Match, of course, for WWE Raw Tag Team Championships. Mandy defeated Sonya Deville. And I'm going to be honest with you. Hopefully Sonya's doing good, and I hope that this guy that was stalking her and actually broke into her house, into her apartment, whatever it was, gets everything he's got coming to him and much, much more. I wasn't a fan of this match. I saw some of my peers online praising it about how really, really good it was. Yikes. Maybe I missed something, folks. I didn't see that at all. This was clumsy. It was odd. It felt weird. Mandy Rose throwing knee after knee after knee after knee. My God in heaven. It just felt so one-dimensional. And I thought that, honestly, I expected better for the story that they were telling. I was kind of let down. No disrespect intended. And if you loved it, sweet, cool. From me personally, from my own perspective, I just didn't care for it too very much. From there, we had Seth Rollins defeating Dominic Mysterio. Dominic looking really good in his WWE debut. Again, as with McAfee, I expected no less. Dominic took a beating, and he's going to be doing that for a while. But that's par for the course. This kid He took all those kendo shots, and people say, "Oh, it's too much, Tom." No, it's not. No, it's not. This kid's paid no dues. You've got to start paying dues. Even in WWE, when it's like, well, we'll just give anybody a spot. Dominic's not just anybody, folks. He's got, heritage behind him. You know what I mean? Third generation wrestler. So yeah, but he's not done anything yet. He's not done a thing. So no, he's got to pay his dues. It's got to happen at this point, at some point for sure. And I think he's doing it right now. Then it's whenever Asuka defeats Sasha to become the new WWE Raw Women's Champion. Drew McIntyre successfully defends the WWE Championship against Randy Orton. And then The Fiend defeated Braun Strowman to become the WWE Universal Champion once again. And as we know, a certain big dog came back. Patience, kids, will get there. Let's get some comments about this show. Corey says, I love Apollo as champion. Listen, I'm just glad that this cat's finally getting something, aren't you? Oh my God. How many? Remember when he first came to the main roster from NXT? It's like, yeah, all right. And then it's like, no, this sucks because they don't know what they're doing. We'll get there. We got another example. It's a good one. We'll get there. Connie, what's going on? Connie says, can't wait till Sasha. But really? So you don't care for their act? I happen to think they're doing pretty well. But Connie, I will tell you this, my friend. If they are annoying the crap out of you, they're doing their job. You may hate it, right? I get it. But they're doing what they're supposed to be doing. Sonya Vib, yeah, I heard that, David. She's had follow-up, you know what I mean? Like copycat stalkers or something. It's insane. Brandon says, I must say it was Manny's best match. All right, look, I'm not going to argue with you, bro. If that's how you feel, that's how you feel, man. It's all good. What's going on, Bobby? Welcome back to the show, man. Christopher says it was good in my book. Talking about the ladies match, hey, it's all good, man. If that's your opinion, that's cool with me. I'm not gonna dish you or tell you were wrong, man. Shannon, on the other hand, says match was really bad. What was man doing with that table? It was a train wreck. Oh, it was. I'm sorry, Shannon. I agree with you, and I share your sentiment. As soon as that table came out, my wife was actually in the room and looked at this match long enough to go, "What is this?" So I tried to explain some of the backstory because she doesn't watch. And she's like, oh, God, that's terrible. And, I mean, she'd been watching for 2 minutes and decided it was terrible. And we gave it enough time. She gave enough time, and she's like, oh, God, that was really bad. And listen, for someone that doesn't watch and doesn't know the backstory and is not invested at all, like most of us are, right, in terms of curiosity, she didn't care anything about this. And she's not like that all the time, right? So, didn't care about this at all. Sal, what's up, bro? Says Dominic Rey Mysterio put on a good performance at SummerSlam. I agree. I totally agree. Ray says Sasha should have kept and let Bayley lose. I lost you guys' comments. Here we go. Sasha, same to successfully defend the Raw as she wins it. She can't ever. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, she's never successfully defended the championship, has she? Ever. Shane says, what do you think is going on with NWA? Wade Barrett and NXT, Thunder Rosa and AEW. Shane, I believe that Stu Bennett's probably coming back to WWE. Some people have described this as a one-off, but I don't know, maybe not. We saw James Storm on NXT and he didn't come in. He just did a one-shot deal. He didn't like the deal I offered him, so he just split. His prerogative. I don't know if that's going to happen with Bennett or not. We'll see. So why isn't the NWA running shows? They had a massive issue with oh my goodness. I was going to say Dave LaGreca, but that's not the right name. The guy that was sort of vice president of operations. He was like Billy Corgan's business partner. And someone look his name up for me. I can't remember him. I actually spoke to him a few times on Twitter on direct messages just about certain things in the business, about me going to a show and then me writing a couple of columns about the company covering the Crockett Cup at the time. It's not Dave LaGreca. It's, oh boy. Shane, you're the man. Tell me what the guy's name is, man. I forgot. So yeah, he got found out, some things coming out about him. And I don't know where that stands at this moment. I think he's out of the NWA. And I think maybe, Shane, maybe they're just in like a regrouping session at this point, sort of trying to put everything back together, if I'm being honest. We'll see. I don't want to see them go away. I know you don't either. I know you're a fan as much as I am. So, no, I don't want to see anything happen to that company for sure. But it's good that their talents are getting to work again. That's great stuff. Did I read Dominic's message to Seth thanking him for the match? Elvis, are you kidding? Did he really do that? Was it on Twitter? Yikes. Yikes, man. I don't even know what to say. This is why I hate that company a lot of times, because they just, what in the world would possess you? You spent all this time, all this effort. They spent all this money putting over this feud. You've got your family involved. The camera's on you all the time. And you're just going to go on. Why couldn't you just text to the guy? You think he doesn't have Seth's phone number? Message him directly. You got to go in front of the world and thank him. Is that what happened? Yikes. I missed that. Jeez. Oh, dude. Trying to move on from that. Kenneth says waiting for Otis to cash in. Yeah, well, we'll see what happens, man. Yes, Sal, NWA is working with AEW for sure. But, to Shane's point, Wade Barrett was back in WWE as well. Keith says SummerSlam matches were fairly solid at the main event, although not surprised, felt like a bit of a letdown. You think so? Thank you, Shane. Dave Lagana. Shane, you're my man. Thank you, dude. Appreciate that. So Christopher says AJ Styles was right. How so? Remind me, Chris. Timothy says Pat McAfee was the biggest surprise. Tim, I see where you're coming from, man. I'm not going to tell you you're wrong. In my opinion, I expected this guy to be ready. I expect him to be ready. David reminded me of something I don't like to talk about. Kayfabe died a long time ago. David, bite your tongue. Clean out of your head. We don't like to talk about that. Oh, Jamel, are you kidding? There's a pic online of Seth and Dominic hugging after the match. Realism is dead, folks. Remember all the storylines? Well, not remember. You just did it. The storylines you get invested in and you can't wait to see the match. Forget it. Another example of that company shoot themselves in the foot. The talent. Jericho did it too when he was there. A lot of them do it. They still do it. They do it in AEW. They do. Jericho will have these guys on his podcast the week after he faces them. I'm like, what? I don't know. Call me old school, I guess. He said that social media doesn't belong in sports entertainment. How about sports entertainment doesn't belong in social media? How about that? Okay? Ridiculous. Whatever happened to, and this kid grew up, he's the son of a legend. Okay? Whose entire career was predicated on the notion that he's this tremendously skilled underdog who the fans, and listen, if you just rally behind this guy, even though he's the smallest dog in a fight, he's going to find a way to overcome the odds. And that's what was preached to us for years about Ray. And his kid doesn't understand? Oh, what? Ouch. My brain hurts. Tina says the storylines aren't good anymore. From your lips to the ears of God, my friend. Hey, old school. Yes, sir. All right. Again, lots more to talk about today. We can move on for this because actually, I'm going to be honest with you, I'm getting depressed. Let's talk about these two events that took place. Roman Reigns returns at SummerSlam. Keith Lee debuts on Monday Night Raw. These will be good, huh? First of all, here, let me say this. It's good to see Roman back. I hope that he's happy, healthy, and safe. I hope he continues to be all three things. I said on the record here on this show several weeks ago when questioned about Roman, and we talked about him at length, I said Roman should stay home as long as he freaking well wants to because he's much safer and healthier at home. This is a recovering leukemia patient, folks. Got no business being out in the COVID world. But he's back in WWE. So it is what it is. But I will tell you this. I hope that every precaution imaginable is being taken to keep this guy safe and healthy because I don't want to see anything happen to him. I don't want to see anything happen to anybody, not just this business, but period. So, yeah. Again, as long as he's okay and as long as his doctors sign off on it, which you had to imagine that they did, and I'm okay with that. What do you think about Roman being back in WWE? David, what's up? No worries, man. Alma, how are you doing, my friend? Good to see you. Carlos says, I thought he was not coming back until the virus thing is over. I thought so as well. Timothy talking about Keith Lee's entrance music is horrible now. I'm in much agreement with you on that. Let's see. Sounds like I didn't like Keith Lee versus Randy Orton match. I'll be honest with you. I didn't care for the match at all. Forget the finish. Love Keith Lee. Glad he didn't job day one. I'm surprised he left, but I guess he's scared of Adam Cole. Ray keeps it kayfabe when keeping it kayfabe goes wrong. So let's see. Tina says, did you see where the Rock and Roll Express was supposed to be in an event in Georgia and they had to drop? No, I didn't know any of that. I'll look it up. I didn't know. Shane says Keith Lee will regret moving to the main roster. Vince McMahon has already started to change him, wearing a shirt and changing his music. So there's two things here. Two things, Shane. One is he's fat, pal. Put his shirt on him. Second is, let's jazz that music up, pal. I want you guys to flash back to episode 190. Don't leave. I'm saying in your mind. Flash back to episode 190. What did I say? Give it to me. Give it to me straight. I can take the truth. I can handle the truth. What did I say? I said, if he goes to the main roster, they're going to ruin him. I said it the episode before and probably the one before that. And I've been saying it for years. You don't know why? There's something about the big men in that company. Vince says he loves them. It's all we hear. Vince loves the big men, pal. They get up to the main roster and what happens? Nothing. Nothing. Brodus Clay. Nothing. You know, Prince Albert. I know it was a different gimmick. Guess what? Nothing. Great Khali. Nothing. I know what you're thinking. Tom, Khali can't work. You're right. You're totally right. Dude, what did three guys have in common? They put funny hats on them and made them dance. And I'm going to tell you this. Keith Lee will be dancing in no time. That's the truth. Didn't I say it? Did I not say it? Tell me I didn't say it. Tell me I did not just say that. I'm pretty sure I totally freaking did. Was I wrong? You're already seeing signs of it. They changed his gear. They changed his music. He came off like a heel when he was talking to him. Just a little bit. Just a little bit, okay? And I'm like, if you're Randy Orton, why in the world would you be intimidated by a guy who just got there? And by the way, you're Randy Orton. You do nothing but spend your days and nights slamming the talent that's currently in NXT. Ciampa, for God's sake, he slams them all the time, right? It's what he does. Why would you be intimidated? He shouldn't have been. He shouldn't have been shocked by anything. He was. I don't know. I don't get it. But that's WWE, baby. More importantly, that's Vince McMahon. I'm just saying. Dave said, always been a fan of Roman. Hopefully he turns heel. David, I think you can hope for cows to drop from the sky at any moment. And I'm going to be honest with you, they might do it. It's 2020. If Roman could turn heel, it'd be 2020. That's when it would happen. I don't think it's going to happen. That's just me. I don't see it. Who would he go against? Who'd be the baby face in the scenario between him and Braun? Get out. Braun's not a baby face, man. They've ruined that guy. They ruined Braun a long time ago. Listen, you know my feelings on Braun. They've not changed. I have nothing against the man. I'm talking about the gimmick. They've just ruined it because Braun Strowman. The fact that Braun's not got a funny hat on and dancing around at this point is shocking to me. Shocking. But they've already made him look like a dope more than one occasion. So they did do what they wanted to do. Made him look ridiculous. Tina says Vince destroyed them and then they get dropped. Yeah. I agree with you. No, I don't think Roman's going to turn heel. Jamel says Vince ruined great storylines for no reason. It's what he does. It's what he's the best at. Shane says, look at Otis on SmackDown. Good example. Now, his gimmick is more comedic anyway, right? But still, Robbie with some throwback stuff here. Johnny Silver and Oddities was one big circus act. Know what you mean? John Tenta, who was Earthquake, they covered him up with a mask and the Oddity. Yeah, and that was meant to be a joke gimmick. That was meant to be a circus. It was. But look at Keith Lee. Is he meant to be that? No, he's not. But I'm telling you right now, that's what they're going to turn him into. And then 2 years from now, when he leaves, if he goes that long, he'll have all kinds of stories to tell about how he was frustrated, how they weren't listening to him, how he was told one thing and something else happened. Every time he had some kind of creative input, they dismissed him or didn't listen, didn't care. We've heard the same story from CM Punk to John Moxley to FTR to everybody in between. And, and here's what kills me is that former WWE talents get bashed. Well, they shouldn't be talking about stuff like that, Tom. They should just be happy now. When's the last time you were asked your true opinion on something and you lied to the person? Do you lie? I don't. Not about that. If someone asked me my true opinion, I'm going to tell the truth, baby. That's what I do. If you don't want to know, don't ask. They were asked. Moxley was asked recently, and he trashed WWE. Why? Because he has an axe to grind? Mox is getting paid. Okay? You think he misses WWE? No, he doesn't. Why would he? He's got no reason to bash anyone. He just told his honest opinion. If you don't want the truth, don't ask. You see what I mean? Jamel, good point. Look at Brody Lee. Excellent point. He was doing a whole bunch of nothing. Ray, talking about Hakeem. Good job, Ray. One Man Gang. One Man Gang was a good gimmick. Hakeem, nah. Okay. Keith says Otis cashes in during the match after the three are beaten down. Reigns beats Otis the following week, turning heel. Okay. I don't agree with you, but I'm okay with your scenario. Could Roman be the new leader of Retribution? But to what end, Alma? What would be his reason for it? Now, I know what you're saying. What you're saying is, okay, Tom, we're going to apply some logic to WWE. Good luck. Because anytime we try, most of the time it falls flat on its face. It is what it is. But I like your idea. I just don't know what his motivation would be to make it happen. I don't know if I understand what the long game is. What's the long game there? Shane says Vince McMahon is like Jerry Jones, billionaires, and is their way. Thank God Jerry's starting to listen to people. Shane, is he listening? It took him long enough to comment, didn't it? On the world events. It took him long enough. Thank you, Jamel. Appreciate that. No, we were just talking about that bit. I haven't heard anything about Roman. But I'm going to be honest with you. Would you be surprised? Me neither. They can make the janitor the leader of Retribution. Retribution, the Shield. I don't know. Tina says Bret Hart admitted him and his brother was destroyed by WWE. But Tina, a lot of what Bret's issues were, can we be honest? And I don't want to get off too deep in the weeds here on this, but a lot of Bret's issues were self-inflicted. The whole Montreal Screwjob never should have happened, which, by the way, I cover the Montreal Screwjob in an upcoming episode of Tom Clark's 6M podcast. Shameless plug time. If you don't know, now you know. Tom Clark's 6M podcast focuses on movies, music, Marvel, magazines, miniseries, and more. It's available on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and the YouTube kids. Today, immediately after this show, jump over to my Facebook page. We're going to give you a special episode reveal of episode 3 coming next Tuesday. New episodes of the show drop every Tuesday. Today, me and co-host Greg Ramsey are recording episode number 19 of the show. We got a lot in the can, recording 2 more per week to get that show, to keep it up and running, to keep it filled with content. Again, if you like any of the 6 subjects I just mentioned, you got to download. It's a free of charge podcast. Shameless plug time over. I'll come back to it, circle back. So anyway. Mark, leaving so soon? Come on. Let's see. Victor says, I say Paul Heyman is the puppet master of Retribution. I'm good with that. You want to know why? Because it's not a wrestler. We have to figure out why he's doing it to begin with. I'm perfectly fine with that. Make Paul Heyman the head of it. Sure. For what reason? Figure it out later. Because they probably don't know either. I'm okay with Heyman being the leader. I'm being honest with you. Ricky says not all big guys have been made into jokes. Kane and Taker an example of that. But Ricky, they came along in a different time. And Ricky, let me ask you this. All things being fair, you don't believe that the storyline with Kane and Lita was the most over-the-top nonsense you ever saw? That Kane taking jumper cables to Shane's testicles was the most ridiculous thing you ever saw at the time? I get where you're coming from. I'm not saying you're totally wrong. I'm just throwing a counterpoint to your point, okay? I mean, yes, there are exceptions, but most of the time, WWE doesn't know what they're doing with anybody they bring up, much less the big men, because they get pigeonholed in one category. Taker didn't necessarily always have to work like a big man. He could work. Kane could work. Keith Lee can work also. The jury's still out. Again, Ricky, I'm not trying to crap on your point, bro. I'm giving you something else to think about. Do you know what I mean? Kane was involved with plenty of nonsense in his time. Taker wasn't. But listen, there's a big difference there. They protected Taker for years and years and years till they destroyed him with the documentary and made him look like a weak old man and let AJ call him a weak old man and talk about his wife and do all this nonsense on the air. Exposed him, exposed his injuries, exposed his limp, exposed his surgeries, made him human. Never should have happened. I'm sorry. It's how I feel. You can disagree if you want, but to me, they ruined it. And they do it all the time. They ruin things themselves, man. They didn't have to. They totally did. The last ride, in my opinion, ruined the Phenom's mystique. His aura has been crashed and smashed and destroyed for all time at this point now. I'm sorry. That's my opinion. Ricky said, I thought it made Kane look more like a monster trying to electrocute Shane. Hey, man, I'm not going to argue with that point. I totally get where you're coming from. If that's how you feel, go with God, man. I disagree in the end result because I thought it was goofy. Because I couldn't believe what I was seeing, and it took me out of it. But listen, if that's your point of view, man, that's cool with me. David says Heyman's the leader because they fired him from his role on Raw. Yeah, okay. I'll go with that. Sal mentioning Shane McMahon, leader of Retribution. Yeah, we'll see. So, David, good point. Why is Bruce Pritchard burying Mickie James over Nick? I don't think he is. Listen, you have to listen. We know who she's married to. That's not happening. And I wouldn't be surprised at some point if you saw Nick Aldis show up in WWE. I'm not even making that up. Wait and see. As the NWA World Heavyweight Champion. Dude, WWE is publicly, openly acknowledging NWA and done business with that brand, that company before. I think they could do it again. I'm not even playing around here. I don't have any intel for you, but that's my opinion. Robbie says, I'm going to go way outside the box with who could be in Retribution. WWE just acquired Evolve Wrestling. It could be some of the wrestlers from Evolve during an Invasion storyline. I'm okay with that. For sure. Yeah, why not? I love the Evolve company. I thought that me and the boy been to several shows. I had fun. Good stuff. Yes, Alma, we opened the show up with Bob today. Yes. Marcus says, not sure Roman Reigns is going to make a good heel. Didn't make a great babyface either. But they did what they had to do. I'll put it to you this way. In terms of acceptance, right? Roman was not the best babyface you ever saw. He did a phenomenal job. Roman always gives 110%. It's just Roman has no business talking on the mic. We'll see if he can talk now after all this time has passed. We'll see if he's improved. But for most of the time, he couldn't talk for anything. Not necessarily his fault, but, you would expect at some point that he would be much, much better than what he is. I like him a lot. Please don't get me wrong. I wasn't one of the guys hating on him. But I could see why fans were getting upset with him because WWE was shoving him down their throats. Not by his hand. But I could kind of see where they were coming from. So I'm currently watching the playback of NXT right now. It looks like there's some friction in Undisputed Era. So that's interesting. We've been kind of expecting the implosion of this faction for a while. So, all right, let's get into some other quick ones here. This hour's flying by here, man. Let's talk about a couple things here. WWE Thunderdome. It's been pretty good. What have you thought about the Thunderdome so far? Amway Center in Orlando, Florida, of course. SmackDown coming with 2.168 million viewers on this past Friday. Raw with 2.028 million fans. So the Thunderdome seems to be making a difference. It seems to be helping. The atmosphere is much more livelier than it was in just the dark performance center environment. NXT is still there. We're not sure why. Why don't they just move to the Amway Center as well? The only thing I could tell you is that I believe they're trying to make it look as different as possible and trying to make the brand unique. And I guess that's okay. I don't really understand it. If you have a better facility and you have a better environment to present this brand in, why wouldn't you do so? I have no clue. I don't know how to answer that. It's weird. So, yes, what do you guys think about the Thunderdome? Shannon, well done. Roman suffering succotash. Shannon, the no prizes in the mail, my friend. Keep watching the mailbox. Shane says, enough bashing WWE. Let's talk some AEW. Who's bashing WWE, Shane? Are you? Because I'm not. Listen, Shane, we present honesty on this show. That's what I do. If someone doesn't like what I think, they're entitled to their own opinion, but I'm not bashing anybody. I'm just telling you like I see it. There's a lot of good things in WWE, a lot of good performers in WWE, a lot of good people in WWE. But the problems in that company come from the very top down. And we know who we're talking about. We'll get to AEW, Shane. Be patient. Be patient. Carlos said, heard what happened during the show. There were some signs of the fans that were not good on the Thunderdome. Yeah, WWE has come out publicly, acknowledged it, though I don't know if they really necessarily had to. It was out of their control. They didn't know it was going to happen. But, you know, they're supposedly taking steps now to ensure that it doesn't happen again. We will see what goes on. I think we can all agree one thing that we've come out of 2020 with is that people are stupid. Not you people. You people are awesome. You're my audience, okay? But for the most part, people are stupid, right? So, as a result of that, stupid people tend to get into every walk of life, including the video wall in the Thunderdome. So, yes, they're in there because they're stupid. So, there you go. Stupidity follows stupid people around quite a bit because it's their MO. Shane, I get you, brother. It's all good, man. I get you. Let's see. Cherie. What's up, Cherie? I could have sworn one of the girls was Carmella when I saw that kick to the face. Could have been. They had to have someone in these outfits, right? I would have guessed it would have been enhancement talent this whole time, but you never know. It could be anyone. It could be someone you just saw, but they're not doing what they typically do, so they don't give themselves away. But you could be right. Tina says it was different. Talking about the Thunderdome, yes. Yeah. Robbie says someone posted on YouTube that one of the mini screens Thunderdome they used at Shaw. Yeah, I know. I saw. It's ridiculous. Justin says like the Thunderdome, but are they losing a lot of money going there? That no, they're not losing money. In fact, they're getting a discount. They're getting a discount. $450,000 for like the next 8 weeks, I think is the number. I don't even know if it's that high at this point. That was the number initially reported. They're getting this at a discount. Doesn't sound like it. To you and me, it doesn't sound like it, right? But no, I don't think they're losing money at all. Have you seen their profit statement? This company has never made more money ever. Okay. Shannon says it fixes the small field of performance center, but that's all it fixes. The storylines still suck. I honestly tuned in just to see what the Thunderdome was going to look like with the virtual fans. I have an easier time watching it, Shannon. I agree with you about the storyline perspective for sure. Shane says, like the Thunderdome with the laser show, I could do without the video wall with the fans and the pumped up crowd noise. Can I be honest with you? I don't know if you need the fans on the video screens. Why not just have graphics on those video screens at any given time? Have each screen doing something different. The WWE logo, Raw logo, match cards on the logos, replays of what happened last week. Do you know what I mean? I'd be okay with that, honestly. But, it is what it is, man. They put pyro throughout where the audience would be sitting. Don't get used to that, kids. I don't think they want to blow us up when we can't go back to see shows live. Jeffrey says, Thunderdome has vastly changed Raw and SmackDown for the good. I have to say, I agree with you, man. Yeah, David, good point. They are told when to cheer, when to boo. You're not surprised by that, are you? You're not surprised, right? Do I think Shayna and Nia win the women's? Yes, I do. Do I want to see them? No, I don't. Shayna Baszler. What happened? You know what happened? She went to the main roster and Vince got his hands on her. That's what happened. Terrible. Sorry. How I feel. Let's move on. Fans return to AEW. Who watched Dynamite last night, and what did you think of the show? I did not go live last night, as I typically do after an episode of Dynamite, but fans returned to AEW. And, man, the vibe in that place, in Daly's Plaza was actually where Kennedy was assassinated. Jeez. Yikes, my bad. Daly's Place, excuse me. The vibe was much different. It was much livelier. And you could tell the talent was all about it, man. Weren't they? Backs itching. Yikes. Real life. So, yeah, man, you could tell the talent was more into it. All of them. They were digging it. I'm sorry. I dig it too. I think it's cool. It's not time yet to bring back thousands of fans. It's not. I don't know when the time's going to be right. There's a lot of people out there that still believe this COVID thing's a hoax. Don't get me started, okay? So, yeah. Ray says, AW was awesome. Sammy is the second man behind King Adam Cole. Nice. How do you think that it'd be reacted to AW with live crowds? Shane, I'll guarantee you this. Shane, from me to you, bro, I'll guarantee you this. Someone in that company has watched Dynamite. Was it Vince? No. He might have been showing clips of the live audience, but he's not going to watch anyone else's product. Get that. Someone in that company watched Dynamite. If for no other reason to see how the crowds were handled, how they were, the social distancing, where they put them, how the crowd reacted, how the wrestlers were not accepted in terms of fan response, I guarantee you, someone in that company, whether it was one person or 100 people or more, have watched that show by now. I guarantee it. So, yes, I do believe that they're paying attention. Carlos says yes, but when are they going to tour the arenas again? Brother, your guess is as good as mine. Do I think Ty Conte will join the Dark Order? Yes, I do. Bit. Thank you for that. I do. So, yes, I love the atmosphere. I think it's pretty cool. So, Ray says, looks like Paige is turning. That entire thing was very weird. I don't think he is. Excuse me, because they set it up for him to turn. And if you want to mess with people, you make them think the swerve is coming and then don't make it happen. I mean, it's possible. Yeah, all signs point to it. Does that mean it won't happen? No, they kicked him out of the Elite. It's over. He's out. That's what the Bucks said last night. He's out. You know, he essentially cost them. He did cost them the match. So FTR's on their way to championship shot at all in, all out. I get those two mixed up quite a bit. Yes, Jamel, good point. We know the talent watches, no doubt about it. Dave says probably Bruce Pritchard watching AEW to steal material so he don't lose his job. I disagree, Dave. I think he's just recycling old material he did 25 years ago in order to keep his job. And so far, it's working, pal. We'll see. Ray, I don't believe Cody's legit hurt. I think Cody's doing the old school pro wrestler thing where he's disappeared and he's staying off the radar. Good on him. At least someone out there still gets it. Moxley, John Moxley, your AEW World Champion, is ranked number one in the PWI 500. What'd you guys think about that? Do you guys even care about the Pro Wrestling Illustrated 500? Does it even matter to you anymore? I have no idea, and I can't answer that for you. So, yeah, what do you guys think? It was kind of a shock, to be honest with you, when I first heard the news. It is what it is. You're looking at the year 2020. I mean, we're just now going to September. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. But how do you guys feel about Mox being rated number one? A lot of people can make the case for Orton. I get that. Some people can make the case for Jericho, and I get that too. But what do you guys think about Mox getting the top spot? Does it even matter to you? It's all work, kids. Carlos says Cody is working on a project TV series. In fact, Carlos, I do believe that you're right. Yes. But again, he's laying low. He's doing the right thing. He's not tweeting from the set. Kids, I love Brody Lee. He's great. Here's a picture of me and Brody hugging and kissing. That's weird. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's not out to break kayfabe. Just saying. No, Jamel, he has not defended the United States Championship in New Japan. The IWGP United States Championship. He's not going back to Japan. The problem with going to Japan is he has to quarantine for 2 weeks when he gets there. And when you do the math, the time it takes to get there, quarantine for 2 weeks, then have the show, travel back. You got to quarantine when you get here, right? That's 2 more weeks, right? If you do it the right way. Now you're up to a month and a half, or at least a month. You really want that? He's AEW World Champion. Now, if he were to drop the title to MJF, it'd be different. We'll see. But I think that's why you've not seen him yet. Shannon says, I feel like they were being safe and did a good job. So she did say, it's getting to Vince knowing that he didn't get fans first. I agree with that. Justin says, will Moxley ever go back to WWE or is having much more success? Justin, I never see him going back to WWE. Bill says, I think MJF should have read that contract a little bit better. Yeah, it was a pretty cool contract signing, to be honest with you. It was pretty good. So the paradigm shift's been banned, but in the meantime, Mox gets a match with MJF's attorney next week. I'll bet the attorney knows how to bump, kids. What do you think, huh? Am I right? Am I right or am I right? Let's see. We'll see. I don't know. I would not be surprised if his quote-unquote attorney, air quotes, mysteriously knows how to bump. So there you go. Let's hit some ratings real quick, shall we? This week, AEW to be announced, Dynamite. The ratings have not come in yet, at least for yesterday. We can check since we're here. We shall see right now what they are. And no, they've not come down yet. It's too soon for the ratings to have come down as of yet. What we can tell you, there we are, back again. There we go. Yep. So last week, AEW, 753,000 to NXT's 853,000 last week. Of course, was 2 different nights. This week, again, AEW's to be decided. NXT, 824,000. So yes, when separated from the two, NXT does very, very well. When put together, NXT does not do very, very well. Now, some people look at that AEW number from last Saturday and say, Tom, what happened? They were up against competition from the NBA. It wasn't just them on TV that night. So let's remember that, okay? So no, they weren't the only game in town that night. So yeah, there was other competition. And put it this way, they were up against Takeover, right? So that's a big deal you have to factor in as well. So not saying anything. I'm just giving you the facts as I see them. That's kind of where I'm looking at. So Keith says, I just don't see MJF winning the title. I thought the contract segment was funny. I agree. Bit, thank you for watching, bro. See you next time. Bit says, will Renee Young join AEW? I'd be surprised if he did. We'll see. Yes, Dennis, we talked about the Pat McAfee situation. Dennis was impressed. He did well. Jeffrey says, for me, Cody is the heart and soul of AEW, and when he's not on the show, his energy's a little bit off, so when he makes his return, it will be awesome. Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that for sure. So, Sal says, John Moxley is on the mic. Yes. NXT didn't have basketball Wednesday because of the protest, David says. Yeah, well, there you go. That'll always have an impact, right? Guess what, kids? We've come to your favorite part of the show. It's the open floor. Boom. Before we sign off today, we got another 5 minutes or so. I'm going to remind you again very, very quickly. Jump over to my Facebook page immediately following this broadcast. If you're interested about Tom Clark 6M podcast, we're going to do an episode 3 reveal at 1 p.m. or shortly thereafter. Don't miss it, please. If you are into movies, music, Marvel, magazines, miniseries, and more, then bro, the 6M pod is for you. So please, immediately after the show today, go to my Facebook and please check it out. Give us your time and attention. The show's free, just like the one you're watching. I've never charged for the main event. I do not charge for the 6M podcast. Okay? Please, just give me your time and attention. Go like the page if you don't mind. I'd very much appreciate it. And yes, we talk about pro wrestling on that show too. It falls into the more category. There you go. So Cherie says, I heard Renee was going to ESPN. I would not be surprised at all. Jamel says, I hope Wardlow costs MJF the title. Oh, he could. He could. That'd be interesting, wouldn't it? Sal talking about something we didn't cover. Yes, Karrion Kross had to, of course, as we said earlier, he has hurt, separated shoulder. Yes, he had to surrender the NXT Championship. They're going to sell the match this coming Tuesday, and they've put that over on Tuesday. Adam Cole, Finn Balor, Tommaso Ciampa, and who else? Who's the fourth member of that little quartet competing for the championship? Somebody tell me. You got Adam Cole, you got Finn Balor, you got Ciampa, you've got Gargano. There it is. There we go. Victor, always a good fan, always a loyal fan. Do you think AEW had fans to test the waters for the football season coming up? No, I just think they wanted to have fans in attendance. There could be an ulterior motive. To your point, there could be. I don't know. But I think they just wanted to have them to test and see if they could do it, successfully pull it off. Now, here's what I'll tell you. 2 weeks from now, if anybody in that crowd comes down with COVID, what does that tell you? Now, supposedly the seats that they sold were sold in pods of like 2 to 4 to 6, I think. I think it was the numbers. So they came together more than likely. So they're either going to get it, they're either going to have it or they're not. They didn't necessarily get it from anyone else, right? Let's see. Shane says Ricky Starks versus Darby Allin could possibly be the match of the year. Possibly could be. We shall see. Jeffrey says Balor will win. Dennis says being from Canada, Renee was part of a show on post-WWE shows each week. Fell in love with her there. Her knowledge of wrestling was off the charts. Wish her the very best. Well, I'm with you there. Good luck to her in her future endeavors. And we say that positively because she's doing the right thing and getting out of that company. So, Jake Snake Roberts cut a good promo on AEW Dynamite. Sal, does he ever not cut a good promo? But I agree with you. Totally. Ray's choice to become the NXT champion. Guess what? It's Adam Cole. You didn't see that coming, did you? Rock buying the XFL. Your thoughts. Robbie, we've addressed this here before on the show, but I will end that with this. I hope that he makes it work. A lot of talented players in that league. Good teams in that league. I was entertained by the games, if I'm being honest with you. I follow the XFL this time around, and I enjoyed the football. I thought it was good football. I thought it was a shame that it ended the way it did. And then Vince goes and sells it. He wanted so badly to bring this thing back, and they just declares bankruptcy, and that's the end of it? Really? I didn't see that coming, to be honest with you. Christopher says, Psycho Killer is back. Yes, Ciampa apparently turning heel. There's one babyface left in that company, and it's Damian Priest. That's it. You know, I think she turned babyface at some point. Cameron Grimes. By the way, if I told you guys who I think should be running for president in 2020, Cameron Grimes. So, vote Grimes 2024. I'm just saying. I didn't wear a wrestling tee this time. You guys see that? I got the Beatles tee on today. I brokered long-standing tradition in the history of this show on the Facebook. Hopefully that doesn't bode like bad things for me moving forward. Hopefully that's not a bad karma or bad mojo, I should say. All right, kids, somebody hit me with something good, and we're going to get on up out of here, and we're going to move on with the rest of our day. Somebody hit me with something good. What have you got? Anything, anybody? Throw me one good one. We'll discuss it, and then we'll split. We'll let you guys get back to the rest of your Friday. Good show today. I appreciate everybody watching and listening as always. Thank you for subscribing and downloading. Remember, the main event is available. Get it out, Tom. The main event is available on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and, of course, the YouTube, as is Tom Clark's 6M Podcast. Please join me today, immediately after the broadcast of this show, on my Facebook page for the Episode 3 reveal. Shannon, Shane, I expect all you guys and gals over there. I swear it won't take any longer than 15 minutes tops, okay? We're going to reveal episode number 3. And if you're not listening to the show, folks, everyone watching right now, please give me your time. The show's free. All I'm asking is for a subscription and download. And if you subscribe and download Apple Podcasts, please leave us a positive review, and same for the main event. Those things mean a lot to me, man. If you guys love the shows, I'm not asking for a dime. I'm asking if you subscribe, download, and rate the shows. That's all I'm asking. I promise you. Shannon, what do you think about Shida and Thunder Rosa? I'm looking forward to it. I like Thunder Rosa a lot. I think it's going to be a very, very good match. I love the NWA World Women's Championship belt's going to be on TV. That's pretty cool. So I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a fun match. I have no doubt about it. Rhea Ripley is the future of WWE Women's Division. I'm okay with that, but we said that last year, and look what they did. I agree with you, Shane. It all depends on whether or not they know how to book her, because right now I have serious questions. Keith says, does McIntyre issue up a challenge at Payback? Right now, there's no match booked, right? Does anybody know if there's a match booked right now? We can look. We can find out. La, 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 la. Let's check before we get out of here today, kids, shall we? Let's look at the payback card. By the way, there's pay-per-view Sunday. Oh my God, we didn't even cover it, didn't we? I told you there was a lot to talk about, man, didn't I? Do you guys care anything about payback? Be honest with me, because I don't know if I even care about it. I'll probably watch it. Doesn't mean I care about it. No, as of right now, McIntyre. Well, McIntyre's not booked because they're playing that injury angle, right? Where Randy punted him in the head twice. That's why they're doing Randy Orton versus Keith Lee. There's your answer. No, he will not be issuing an open challenge. I just actually remember that. Christopher Wilson says Robert Stone versus the Tank. That's good stuff. I'm sorry. He's like, ah. Oh, it's too much comedy for me. Cameron Grimes is not too much comedy for me. The Robert Stone brand is. However, I still find it funny. I'm not going to lie. Let's see. Victor says, I think Io will lose the belt to Blackheart in the future. I like Shotzi. If I tell you I loved her, I saw her in Evolve and I really liked her. I still really like her. At some point, she feels like the indie talent in NXT. And a lot of them do. But to me, in my opinion, she really feels like an indie talent. Now, is that fair? Maybe not. Is it bad? Absolutely not. I don't mean it in a negative way. And from my perspective, I'm good with it. I'm talking about how does that company see Shotzi Blackheart right now? Do they see her as being one of their own, or do they see her as being an indie talent? Because if it's the latter, I promise you, she's not getting a title. If it's the former, then it's all good. Of course, this is the same company who, up until the very end, saw Sting as a WCW guy. Even though WCW had been closed for over 10 years. Snack on that. Saying. Sal says, I don't care about payback. Brother, a lot of people don't. Will says basically only care about Lee versus Orton. There you go. And yes, as Dennis pointed out, Roman versus Bray versus Braun. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. All right, kids, we're going to get out of here. Listen, hold tight. Don't go anywhere except click over to Tom Clark's Facebook page. And if you and I are not friends on the Facebook, you're doing life wrong. Because I promise you, I'm a good guy. Look at me. There you go. So, yes, click over to my Facebook page. And if you follow the 6M pod, you can click over that page. We'll be broadcasting simultaneously. We're going to do a episode 3 reveal coming up next. Listen, we're going to get out of here. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Thank you, everybody, as always, for giving us your time and attention and everything that goes along with it. Thank you so much for everybody tuning in, supporting the show, supporting me, supporting your boy. I do very much appreciate it. You guys know I really do. I hope you guys, as we said at the beginning of the show today, stay safe, stay healthy. Please take care of each other. We're going to get out of here today, man. Thanks a lot for watching. As always. Yes, again, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Tom Clark's Main Event.